Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Raymond Yeung. Here are tonight's top stories. Imported workers get the green light to take up low-skilled jobs. Opponents of the government's bid to ban a protest song are given 7 days to appeal. And a national security judge is accused of judicial copying in 4 cases. The government says 26 types of low-skilled jobs are open to foreign workers to ease the manpower crunch. But the move has caused a controversy, with the trade unionist questioning whether it is necessary. Janice Low reports.
The government has set a cap of 20,000 for imported foreign labor to ease a shortage in the construction and transport sectors. It has also decided to scrap a ban under the supplementary labor scheme and allow employers to look beyond Hong Kong for positions such as waiters and hairdressers.
What we are proposing right now is to relax for 2 years the restrictions on 26 categories. They are mainly low-skilled jobs, but what we are allowing now is we allow employers to make an application. But for each and every application, they have to, first of all, to prove there is a shortage in recruiting from local. So it's not for sure that the application will be processed.
But Lam Chun Sing, chairman of the Federation of Hong Kong and Kowloon labor unions, questioned whether it's necessary to lift the ban on hiring imported workers in so many sectors. Lam, who's also a lawmaker, suggested that the Labour Advisory Board should consider maintaining the import ban for some jobs to give locals priority. Under the new scheme, for each worker brought in, employers will have to contribute $400 each month as a retraining levy, and the manpower ratio is fixed at 1 imported worker to 2 locals. Janice Low, HKIBC.
The government has published on its website a copy of its application for an injunction against the popular protest song Glory to Hong Kong. Anyone opposing the injunction has 7 days to appeal. There was a minor setback for the government on Monday after its bid to outlaw the protest song Glory to Hong Kong was adjourned for 5 weeks. A High Court judge asked the Department of Justice to name the defendants and publish a copy of the injunction. The relevant documents were posted on government websites today, but to access them, users must scroll to the bottom of the pages of the Justice Department and police and click on a rather obscure link. The government's one-stop portal, GovHK, even has the link hidden at the far end of a scroll bar. According to the writ, the injunction seeks to restrain anyone from promoting the song in any way, including broadcasting, performing, or disseminating it. It provided a list of 32 variations of the song, all from YouTube, although some of the links don't work anymore. The ban only applies if the person commits the act with the seditious intention, or lead others to mistake the song as a national anthem, or to suggest that the SAR is an independent state. Those who assist, incite, or help others to commit such acts are also liable to prosecution. Anyone who opposes the application has 7 days to lodge a protest. But the person must first obtain a physical copy of the documents at police headquarters by paying a reasonable administration fee, and then write to the Department of Justice. A 20-year-old student has been sent to a rehabilitation center for desecrating the national and SAR flags. Wong Chun Lok had denied 3 counts of flag desecration. He was arrested on National Day last year after snapping 5 flagpoles on the streets of Shamshui Po. Wong, who is autistic, said he was irritated by the flag's bright colors and wanted to remove them from his sight. But West Kowloon Magistrate Lee Chi-ho described his acts as serious, as they took place amid citywide celebrations. One of Hong Kong's national security judges has been accused of judicial copying in at least 4 trials. The court ordered a retrial in one case, presided by Wilson Chan. Janice Low reports.
High Court Judge Wilson Chan was responsible for the case and the change of trustee for Great Eagle Holdings Family Trust back in 2021. Filing an appeal, plaintiff Low Kai-shih alleged that the judge did not think independently, repeated statements made by both parties, and mistakenly quoted the defendant's statement word for word in the judgment. But Susan Kwan, vice president of the Court of Appeal, today said the court would not give any or only a small weighting to Chan's judgment in the case, as his alleged judicial copying was handled elsewhere. Chan, who's also a designated national security judge, came under scrutiny after a retrial was ordered for a trademark dispute case which he handled. Last Friday, the Court of Appeal ruled that he had copied over 98% of the plaintiff's written statement in his judgment. It pointed out that for the remaining 2%, there was not one full sentence written by the trial judge in his own words. Chan was also alleged of judicial copying in at least 2 other cases. Chief Justice Andrew Yeung said plagiarism is not acceptable, as it is unfair to the plaintiff and defendant, and affected the public's confidence in the judiciary. Yeung and High Court Chief Judge Jeremy Poon have both reprimanded Chan. Janice Low, HKIBC.
China is ready to act as a mediator, says President Xi Jinping, as he met Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Beijing. Abbas, who arrived yesterday for a 4-day visit, was given a state reception at the Great Hall of the People this afternoon. Apart from a guard of honor by soldiers, he was greeted by enthusiastic children. The leaders later sat down for talks and announced a strategic partnership. Describing Abbas as a good friend, Xi said China will firmly support Palestinian rights. China has again told the United States to stop interfering in its internal affairs and endanger its security. Beijing stated its position in a phone conversation between Foreign Minister Qin Gang and his U.S. counterpart Antony Blinken. The call came days before Blinken is expected to visit Beijing in an attempt to mend ties. Qin made it clear that relations between its 2 economic powers must be based on the principles of mutual respect and peaceful coexistence. Blinken, who is expected to be in Beijing on Sunday, says the 2 sides must stay in touch to avoid miscalculation and conflict. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to federal charges that he illegally kept classified state secrets after leaving office. Trump claims that the charges are aimed at stopping his bid to return to the White House. Sachin Kabra reports.
It was not the first time Donald Trump wasn't caught. This time, the former U.S. president faced 37 federal charges over keeping classified military documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida after he left office. Tight security was in force at the Miami courthouse, where many of his loyalists had gathered. Trump's lawyers entered a plea of not guilty, and he did not have to pay a bond or surrender his travel documents. It will probably be a year or more before the trial begins. A protester posing as a convict tried to stop Trump's convoy as he left the courthouse. The man was quickly hustled away and pinned to the ground. Trump wasted no time returning to the campaign trail. He's leading the race for the Republican nomination in next year's presidential election.
And Father, we thank you that if you are with us, who can be against us?
Patrons in a Miami restaurant said a prayer for him.
Food for everyone. Food for everyone.
Supporters wished him happy birthday as he turns 77. Trump insists that the charges against him are politically motivated.
We have a rigged country, we have a country that's corrupt, we have a country that's got no borders, we have a country that's got nothing but problems. We're a nation in decline, and then they do this stuff.
Just 2 months ago, Trump appeared in a New York court accused of paying hush money to a porn star. Sachin Katwi, HKIBC.
A military recruit in Japan has been arrested after opening fire at a training facility, killing 2 instructors and wounding a third. Police and army investigators converged on the scene after the shooting in Gifu, about 250 kilometers west of Tokyo. The 18-year-old suspect was detained immediately after the incident during a live fire exercise. It's the first fatal shooting case at a Japanese military firing range in nearly 4 decades. Shootings are rare in Japan, which has tight gun control rules. More than 15,000 people living near an erupting volcano in the Philippines have fled as a precaution. Experts monitoring the activity of the Mayon volcano warned that the eruptions could become stronger. There were more than 300 rockfalls, while molten lava continued to ooze out. Police and soldiers have been deployed to turn away people trying to enter within a 6-kilometer radius of the volcano. Mayon is 300 kilometers southeast of the capital, Manila, and is the country's most active volcano. Inflation in the United States has dropped to a 2-year low, but many Americans still flock to food banks.
You can't even buy a dozen of eggs like we used to for 49 cents. Now it's $5 for that's a large eggs of 12. And that's too much when you have a family of 6 or more.
U.S. inflation dropped to 4% in May, easing for the 11th straight month. But while ordinary households are struggling to pay the bills, borrowers may get a break. The U.S. Federal Reserve meets tonight and is expected to leave interest rates unchanged for the first time since March last year, when it used rate hikes to tame inflation. The Hong Kong stock market has retreated from a 3-week high on worries that Beijing is not doing enough to boost its post-pandemic recovery. The Hang Seng Index lost 0.6%. Trip.com plunged 5.2% on low demand for flight and hotel bookings during the 3-day Dragon Boat Festival holiday on the mainland next week. Telecoms giant China Unicom was down 3%, declining for a 3rd straight day. CM Bank took a 2.5% hit after China's central bank cut the borrowing cost by 10 basis points. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down by 113 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tencent was up 80 cents, Alibaba was down 55 cents, and China Construction Bank was down 7 cents. ICBC down 10 cents, BYD Company up by $1, and the Tracker Fund lost 13 cents. The forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, the euro's at 8.46, the pound's at 9.9, while the Australian dollar at 5.31. And in Europe, the London FTSE is currently up 38 points. On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy with occasional heavy rain tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 26 and 29 degrees. More or less the same in the coming days before conditions improve on Sunday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Wednesday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Raymond Yeung. Good night.